What's going on, guys? It is Madman Plant, and we are back here in the podcast studio. And we have been busy this entire week. I've actually been updating the website. So if you go to the website, there's a whole bunch of new blogs, information. We've been redoing the pages. SEO is a bitch, and a lot of the behind the scenes where it's like all this work on the website, huh? And it's like it's all the behind the scenes. So what's going on, Brian? How's it going, my dude? So, with that being said, we are about to start the Grow series, which my clones, some of them are probably about like this tall, so almost probably over a foot. Now, I'm debating whether cutting them and then making more clones, waiting for those to root, and then do that, or just put them in because I have five, but I have 6 sites. So, I'm deciding, do I just do 5 plants or do I do the full 6? So, all 3 holes on both sides are filled up. So, I am looking to figure that out soon. Other than that, we are about to start our hospice work. So if you follow Honey on Duty, we just graduated from that. Honey is now a certified therapy dog, as well as my service animal. So we will be touring hospice centers, addiction clinics, hospitals, really bringing in that whole Vindicate, I heal mentality. And what better way to not only talk about it, like I did in my blog, which if you guys are interested in death or have a relationship with death, there's a great article out about Ryan's Law, which I got from, I believe it was either Beard Bros or Marijuana Movement. And I wrote my own article about it. And then I wrote a follow-up article. And it really shows you, especially in the hospice setting, which I'll be in, how cannabis is actually being introduced and used instead of harsh opiates and other things that really take people out before it's their time. So it's a really great article. Hope you check it out. And then remember, all the content on the website is completely free. We have a bunch of great downloads, and we're about to have even more downloads coming up. And I'm partnering with some people to create some more worksheets just for you guys. So there's a lot of stuff that's going behind the scenes of Madman Plant, not just the garden, because our philosophy is, how can you grow a great garden if you can't grow a great human? And we are really focused on that human aspect. So tonight is another great human. We have Turtle Trichomes, who actually wrote a really nice post about what we do in the community, and he signed up, which you can too, on the website to be on the podcast like we are tonight, and we are about to bring him on. So let's welcome Turtle Trichomes. What's going on, dude?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for coming on.
No problem, buddy. Nice to be on here. It's good to finally meet you. I've been following your page for a while, buddy. I'm actually a fan myself.
Well, are you pre-mask era or are you after? Are you pink hair era? Because there's a difference.
Mascara, buddy. I'm going way back.
Okay, very cool.
Mask
So,
and all, bud.
some people loved some people loved the mask. Some people did not love the mask. Were you pro mask or anti mask?
I love the mask.
Yeah.
You get a sense of serious to it.
I kind of miss it every once in a while, but
really gets my bad. Really gets people to focus on what you're saying instead of what it is that you look like.
Well, that was the whole point. And then there was people that were like, take it off. It's ruining the culture of cannabis. And it's like, no, what you just said was the entire point of it.
It shouldn't be about what I look like. It shouldn't be about the image. It should be about the message more than anything, man.
Well, yeah, and I totally agree, and I think that's going to be our guideline of our topic tonight is, for people that are so diverse, which the cannabis community is, it is amazing how much stigma and stereotyping there is within its own community, when technically we should all be proud to be different because of our love for the plant, where mainstream society still hasn't opened their hearts up to it. So
100%. And I think before we can reach society, we have to rebuild within. and build that love within us and build acceptance across the board, you know?
Yeah, no. And I think, as we see that more and more, as we become more conscious and awake as humans and just what's going on in the world, you just can't deny the diversity that's out there. And it's like, you can spend your time trying to oppose it or, accept it, just like everybody loves Mexican food. You know what I mean? There's not many people I know that don't love like tacos, for example.
Right. Everybody I know loves tacos.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't not love tacos. Tacos are good.
So,
same thing with people. There's a lot of about we have to learn to set aside differences and learn to just love each other, man. That's the big thing.
So tell us a little bit about turtle trichomes, like the message, the name, the philosophy. Let's dive into this.
The reason I got into doing anything to begin with was actually because you, like I said, the reason I got into you was I loved your message, man. You really spoke out for the people that you really touched mental health, touched out to me because I personally deal with mental health. I personally deal with addiction issues and everything. And I heard your story and I was like, you know what? I get my story out there and I need to help people who are like me. That's the best way I can put it, is what can I do for the people that are going through something similar that I've gone through? It might not be it's not a Cinderella story. No, not shoe doesn't fit everybody,
Mm-hmm.
But it's about help. And that's why I'm here. And the reason I chose the turtle behind my image and my name and all that is because I'm very deeply rooted in my native tradition and the world turtle. The world was on the back of a turtle, and back in time, everything got along. We didn't see differences. We didn't see anything. We just seen love. We just seen spirit. We seen aura, and that's the kind of the thing behind the turtle. But the reason I'm starting my thing up is to create more acceptance, to show that you can start from nothing and build yourself up to be something. Because 2-3 years ago I wasn't where I was now. I was a fentanyl addict, I was a meth addict, I was a coke addict. I was down and out real bad, and it took me believing in myself first to get my story out there to potentially help others, because I've realized that's what my job is to help other people. And I'm going to do everything I can to do that for anybody, I just want to help people. And I think weed is a good way to go about doing that. It's helped me stay clean. Once I got green, I stayed clean. It took me changing my environment, changing my people around me. But once I did, and I got to where I needed to be mentally, cannabis has been a great tool in continuing my sobriety, It's been a journey, but we're still here.
I really like that, and thank you for being so open. I'm excited to dive into this conversation with you. Speaking to a lot of people who have dealt with addiction, I prefer the word users. Apparently, that's the more appropriate way, respectful way to say it versus addict. But one thing a lot of people who, just like you, who have really found the benefit of cannabis is it still allows you to feel while giving you something to have, and some people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't need a crutch, but you tell that to everybody that goes to happy hour, right after work, you know what I mean? So everybody has,
there is between using it as a crutch and mindfully. There's a difference between just smoking to smoke and before you even smoke, you have a preparation. You walk into this like, hey, what do I want to get out of this? What can I do what can I benefit from what overall smoking? Not just, I don't want to just sit here and get laid. You know? I want to get from it. And
So
that's how
I have
you have to
lost your
use it.
camera feed.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Is that better?
Nope. I see a black screen.
Lord have mercy.
Now I see an icon.
How's that? Hold on. Let me rejoin.
You know what? For being in the dark, you look great. All right. For being in pitch black, working really well for you. So, guys, while we are figuring out these technological errors, I am probably going, I didn't weigh this, but I guess I should have on my scale. But I'm just going to make a huge joint, mainly because ever since I got my venti, I've been using my venti. But since you guys are all here with me tonight, see, this is my community bowl. So when people come over, they just grab what they want and roll whatever they want. This is a combination of all my good stuff. So I put it in here and then just grind, and we're good to go. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Yeah. Am I back? Am I good?
You might want to connect to Wi-Fi or disconnect from Wi-Fi, depending on which one.
I disconnected, so I'm going to see if that's going to be a little better.
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes I disconnect and it's like, oh, wait, I get better service by not using the Wi-Fi. Why do I pay $300 a month to Verizon? Right.
Why do I have fiber optic internet and it's terrible?
Don't even get me started, dude. Like, it is horrible.
Fiber optic is a scam. There we go. Can I be seen? Am I visible?
You are visible.
There we go.
All right, I think that'll be good.
I need some agua. I have terrible cotton mouth right now.
Nice. First, I'm going to start at the tip, and then we'll start with the actual roll. So let's dive into your story a little bit. So being a former user,
yes,
you talked about meth. You said meth and what else?
Fentanyl and cocaine.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about early life, and then we'll lead up until now. So when did you first start? Oh, he's gone again.
There we go. All right, let's talk about what
I said. When did you first get introduced to this? Like, when did mental health and all of this stuff that you're really passionate about now really start?
I always kind of struggled with mental health since a very young age. I never really knew stability at a young age. I always moved around. I didn't really have a steady family influence, you know. For the better 20 years, I just bounced around, and thankfully now, after 20-something years, I'm back around my family and everything. But for a very long time,
was that a personal choice to do that, or did something happen within your family?
At a very young age, my mom kind of moved away, and I was forced to go with her because I was kind of the redheaded stepchild of the family, you know, already. And so me and her kind of moved around from 6 years old until just recently, 26, you know, 10 years, you know, 20 years, you know, it's a long time, you know, and I never really knew what stability was. I never knew to be in one place, you know. And it was rough. I went to a lot of different schools. I've lived in 13 different states, you know, and
wow,
a short amount of time. I'm only 26 years old, and I've lived in 13 different states. I've been locked up off and on my whole life. I've just had a very rough hand dealt to me, but I tried to give it the best I could. You know, I tried to play it to my best capabilities at the time, and it didn't work out the best. You know, it took a lot of learning to get to where I am now. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm upset about what has happened to me. It has taught me a lot, and it's made me who I am now. You know, if people ask me all the time if I could take it back, would I? No, because it's life lessons that I'm thankful for that I've learned at a very young age. You know.
So, with that being said, with
And
no,
it once I started moving around and I got away from family, I kind of rebelled. Because I didn't want to be moving around. I didn't want to be away from my family. I didn't want to be away from all my childhood friends and all that, you know. And I rebelled, and that rebellion came in the form of, you know, doing drugs. I mean, it didn't start as doing drugs. It started as, you know, skipping school, you know, doing graffiti on buildings and stuff like that. You know, it was just non not anything real serious, you know. Obviously, you know, graffiti isn't a good thing, you know. Skipping school isn't a good thing, you know. But it wasn't to the point of substance abuse yet. And I don't know. It was one person, the one person you think's a friend, you know, gives you a little pill, says here you go, and then that's how your addiction starts. You know, it's for me. It started with pills. I ended up, unfortunately, breaking my leg when I was probably about 12, 13 years old, and I was prescribed oxycodone and oxycodone and hydrocodone, something like that. And
yep.
Those pills were strong at a young age, you know, especially the milligram they were giving me. It was strong, and that kind of led into my opiate addiction, you know. And then it went from opiates to other substances that would I found it wasn't a way to have fun anymore. It took me a long time to realize that it wasn't a way to have fun. It was a way to run, to numb, to get to make it feel what I had been through okay. But that's not okay. It's not okay to, you know, run to a substance for help, because that's never the answer, man. And it took me a long time to learn that.
So, can you hear me?
I cannot hear you, buddy.
You cannot hear me.
Hold on. Let me. This is irritating. One second, buddy.
All right. Well, we will be right back after these messages. So I'm going to bring Yoda in the background. Yoda, while we wait for Turtle, I am working on the base of a serious joint here. I just rolled the tip, and now I'm going to start it. Feel bad for him that he's having such internet connections.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Yoda is one of my best friends, Maud, and my new correspondence to my SmokeBusters media team. So he's a pretty awesome dude. Make sure to follow him at Master Yoda 207. All right, so right now as we wait, I got the tip. That's 4 tips in one.
So did you roll that, and then did you tape it with a piece of rolling paper so it's
raw tape? Yep.
We got Turtle back.
Yep. So it's held together by a paper. All right. We'll see you.
All right.
There we go. My apologies.
Don't worry. I found a substitute while you were gone. Don't worry.
Cool. How much of that did you get?
We got all the audio. It was the video that was like blacked out, but the audio was good. Because what I was talking to you about is you said you moved around from family, pills, broken leg, oxys, and then you start to see the shift from using where it wasn't about fun anymore. It was becoming the nightmare. So let's talk about that. When you're using like you were, as far as like my thing is, I've never been an addict or a user of like heroin or meth or coke or anything. I use psychedelics and cannabis, and for me, it's almost like a football game for like tripping, right? You know, I trip on the weekend and then back on Monday, I'm back to doing my normal thing. Where does the nightmare begin, and what does that look like? How do you start to know as a user that maybe you've gone down a little bit of a wrong path and this isn't as much fun as you thought it was?
So the worst part of my addiction story was when I was on fentanyl, and that's when I knew I had life. That whole experience wasn't tasteful. So the way I got on fentanyl, I didn't even know I was doing fentanyl. I had recently gotten out of prison, and I was with the mother of my second child, and she happened to be doing these little blue pills, you know. And like I said, I already had an experience with opioids and pills because of breaking my leg and all that. So I was like, hey, you know, I'm all for pills, you know, and I didn't realize exactly what it was that I was doing. And it quickly went. Am I still here?
You're still here.
Am I still here?
Yep. Hello.
I hope I'm still here.
You are still here.
Oh my gosh.
Can you hear us? Like I say all the time, guys, it isn't a true Madman production if there isn't some technical errors. So you know that you're getting a genuine experience for being here. So thanks for tuning in. Now, this joint, unlike his internet, is going very, very well. And I'm about to put this whole thing together. So I imagine I'm around 7 grams. Let's see here. Oh, you're on a new device.
I'm going to have an aneurysm.
Oh, yeah? Like live here on the podcast? That'll be a first.
The devil.
Sorry to see that.
Speak of the devil and it appears.
Right.
I'm telling this and the devil appears. No.
I really think it's your bad
like
internet
I said,
that appeared.
I got no, my baby mama tried to call me from prison, actually.
Oh, shit.
The one I'm talking about right now.
We should go on our own podcast. What are you doing? Call her back.
No.
We haven't talked to somebody in prison right now.
No. I have denounced her for a reason. She is not a positive influence in my life, and she needs time to reflect on her own decisions in life to become the person I know she can be. She just needs the opportunity to. And the opportunity looks of me not talking to her right now.
What an opportunity that is.
Yeah, because she is still in that addicted mindset, and I've been trying to work on it, and it's not. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a horse drink, you know. And it's heartbreaking, because I really do love the mother of my child. I love her with everything in me. I just want her to be the person I know she can be. But back to the addiction story with this. When I'd gotten out of prison, she had these pills, and I didn't know what they were. Me and her were together for a little minute, and I chased her for years, all through high school. She was like my high school sweetheart. I love her to death. And then I got with her, and it was a complete nightmare. Me and her got together. We were doing these pills, and then she pops up pregnant. And she looks at me. She's like, "There's no way I'm pregnant. I'm fentanyl." I just looked at her like, "What do you mean? What is that?" I don't even know what fentanyl is, because, like I said, I had just gotten out of prison at the time. It's a completely new thing to me. She's like, "Yeah, that stuff on the news you see people dying of all the time. Yeah, what do you think we're doing?" I was like, "What do you mean?"
She's like, "What do you think we're doing?"
By that time, yeah, and by that time it was already too late. Like, when they say fentanyl is addicting, it's addicting. To people that have anything to hide from, to anything, if you just want to numb yourself, if you just don't want to deal with anything, it's designed for people that are hurt in any form. And it's really good at helping. It doesn't help. It doesn't help, but it's very good at what it does. And the way I knew I got bad on it is when I went from, I had everything I wanted. I had money, I had shoes, I had fucking everything, and I lost all of it to this addiction. I was trading Jordans for pills. I was trading anti-social social club shirts for pills. I was trading Gucci stuff for pills. Like, I was losing everything that I had worked really hard for after I'd gotten out of prison, and I was just losing it all to a pill. It went from 1 to 2 pills. I had to spend $150 a day just to not feel sick. It was, I was living in a hotel room paying $300 a week on top of my $100 addiction every day. And that led into a very dark lifestyle of self-prostitution and a lot of darkness. I lived a very dark lifestyle to feed my addiction, and that's when I knew I needed to change my life around. When I had my kid, when I learned I had my kid on my way, when I learned that my life needed to change for the better, not for myself but for my child, that's when I really was like, this is bad. It wasn't. I wasn't even worried about nothing other than getting myself high, and that wasn't good. And that led. I eventually ended up overdosing from that, and my baby mama actually had to save my life. Thank God she was a CNA, which is wild in itself. Yeah,
that is wild, especially being a nurse and seeing it all the time in the hospitals and people coming in, but that's the power of the drug, and that's what people don't realize is, it'll make you do things. Now, you said prostitution. Was that your wife or was that yourself?
Oh, myself. I put myself through.
Now, what was that like? Like, how do you prostitute yourself? Like, where do you get the idea that that's the only way?
When you live in a very transactional upbringing, where you see everything as a transaction, it could be anything. It could be a remote. It could be a pin. Everything is, and for a very long time for me, everything was viewed as a transaction. Didn't matter what it was. I could make something out of it. And I eventually got to the point to where I viewed myself as a transaction.
Now, give me a definition of a transaction. What is a transaction?
Shit, going out there and having sex with dudes and random females for money and drugs.
Yeah, but like you said, everything's a transaction. Like, where does everything in the world become transactional versus like over emotion or feeling or neutral bond?
After you grow up very young, having to be grown at 10, 11, 12 years old and having to pay bills.
What's going on, Steve?
having to realize what was. And at that time, it was a transaction. It was a way to make money. It was a way to do. It was a way to make a living.
Now, with that being said, can I ask a personal question? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking a personal question?
Go ahead.
Now, sexually, like, are you bi, or like, had you ever been with a male before, or is that the addiction?
Yes. I've been with men. I've been with women. I don't like to look at myself as sexuality. I look at it as I love you for you. It doesn't matter who or what you are. I love who people are, not what they are.
Fair enough. Now, with that being said, when you knew you were doing it for drugs, essentially, how does that change the relationship of loving somebody or performing acts of love towards somebody?
It completely destroys it. It destroys it, and that's something I'm still having to teach myself to this day, is how to be in a relationship without it being transactional. That is something I'm still teaching myself. It's not easy. And trust me, it sucks because I am a hopeless romantic. Like, I want to love so bad, but I just can't, because how I have lived my life, I can't. I don't think I have the capability yet to take the selfishness out of it.
Selfishness as in personal gains.
I have to be gaining something from the relationship, basically.
and what is that derived from?
From the transactional, from the addiction. Honestly, it comes from not being satisfied with where I was in life personally. Mm-hmm. And the way I looked at getting myself up was by finding other people to put below, because that's the only way you can get above, in my eyes, back then. And that's how hierarchy was established, is you figured out, how to climb within relationships. It was a dog eat dog world.
Now, is that just the lifestyle of users and being on the streets, or is that an environment that was also portrayed by your family?
I couldn't say it was portrayed by my family because there was lack of. Only person I really had in family terms was my mom. And, I mean, she did her best. I will say she did her best. But there was lack of discipline. Lack of love, for sure. And that's what it was, is I was seeking love and attention and acceptance. And when you're on drugs, everybody accepts you as long as you got drugs.
And that, I guess, that false illusion of being wanted because you have drugs is also the alluring part to it too. So you realize that it's all about drugs, I guess.
Drugs and money, that's all they care about.
Yes, drugs will make you do the darkest things.
3-4 years ago, I had what I thought was the most best friends in the world. Fast forward 3-4 years, you know how many I talked to?
Well, you can be in the cannabis community and still wind up with the same results. So I totally feel you on that. You know what I mean? So
listen,
tell me,
but hey, we're trying to be the changing force, though, man. That's the difference. Is we're trying to create a space where it's okay to not be okay, and that's what people got to realize. It's okay to not be okay. Having gone through something, being somebody that's gone through a lot of things and hasn't had the best life. Hey, it's a story. You can help people. You just got to know how to do it. You got to know how to market it. You got to know how to sell your story. You just got to be real. That's what it is. And that's what a lot of people will respect more than anything is honesty.
Well, not only that, but it takes courage to tell a story, especially one that makes you seem like the bad guy at sometimes. Because nobody wants to be the bad guy.
I'll put it like this. Do you understand the Hermetic principles?
No. Explain
Hermetic
them.
principles, in Hermetic principles, there's a principle of duality. And duality is understanding that good and evil are of the same. Mm-hmm. It's just different viewpoints. That's all it is. Good and evil are the same thing. It's just different viewpoints and who's telling the story.
Very true.
Because listen, you're not always going to be the good guy in everybody's story, and you're not always going to be the bad guy in everybody's story.
No, but what you want to be is the legacy, because then they can't stop talking about you.
Exactly.
Like Sandlot. Exactly. Heroes will be remembered, but legends never die. So let's talk about one of your darkest moments. When did you realize that the party was over and you really needed to clean things up? Like usually it's something traumatic, or like you get sent away, or you get in trouble. Like, how did it all start to unfold? Like, what was that darkest moment?
I'll give you a series of events and what led up to it. So, me and my baby mama ended up going through it for a spat, and she ended up getting locked up to where the point I was taking care of my son, basically myself, for a couple months, single parent father, She gets out of county, and when she gets out of county, she gets right back on the drugs. After we had already moved and gotten sober and everything, had our kid and everything, we had gotten sober. Well, she ends up getting locked up. When she gets locked up, she gets access to all the plugs in the area. And she gets right back on the same drugs we had just left. And I bared with it for a moment. Because I don't like giving up on people. I have a problem with that because I don't want anybody to step on me. The tipping point. But she ended up getting back on the drugs, on fentanyl specifically. And I tried coaxing her, hey, you're going to get off. You say you're going to get off, let's get off, And she's like, no. I got to go get some more. I told her, I was like, well, hey, if you're going to go get some more, I want you to think about our son while you're going and picking that up, because he's going to be what you're going to be coming home to. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to be going up to the courthouse and putting in, the order so I can get my son, and me and him are out of here. She's like, okay. Well, she leaves, and when she leaves, she goes straight up to the courthouse and put a restraining order against me.
Oh, shit.
And forced it to I couldn't see her or my son for the next 5 years. So I ended up I was forcibly moved out of my house. And I lost it. After I lost my son, I kind of losing my son was kind of the tipping point. And then shortly after losing my son, I lost my best friend. My best friend drowned.
I'm so sorry.
And he was he's good. It's good. It's not, but we're getting there. But I lost my best friend, and that was kind of the all tipping point. Because he was kind of my rock after losing my son.
Are you there?
Yeah, hold on.
I can't see you, but I can definitely hear you.
I know. I'm a little choked up right now. But no, yeah, after losing my best friend, I kind of lost everything. I didn't have anybody to really turn to that I really thought was a friend. So I got real bad on drugs, real bad, to the point where I got on after I got off fentanyl, I got on meth real bad, and for 3 months, all I did was sit inside and smoke meth every day. And I ended up getting 73 pounds. I ended up getting like really, really sick to the point where I was like almost dead. And yeah, I had one of my other best friends ended up coming to me when I was really bad through that addiction, and he gave me some mushrooms, funny enough, when I was withdrawing. And I'm sorry, as an addict, you can't give any addict drugs and not expect them to do them. And so I ate 7 grams of mushrooms withdrawing through meth. And I had a life-changing epiphany. And it was like, man, you need to get the fuck out of here. You need to move the fuck away from all these people. None of these people care about you. Yes. You're going to... That same week, I booked a ticket up to Michigan. I moved the dude I was living with. I was like, hey, here's everything I own. I moved up here with 2 suitcases with nothing and completely restarted my life because of mushrooms.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. And thank you for your vulnerability and opening up. I know you're going through a tough moment right now, but you're doing a great job, and I really do appreciate you. And mushrooms, personally, are a big fan of mine, and I'm a big fan of theirs. And I personally agree on the resetting powers, especially the open-minded, like, hey, this might not be the place for me. And what can we do to go forward? So what happened after?
After I had that trip, man, I literally booked a ticket. I packed up 2 suitcases of what I considered my most prized possessions. And I packed up 2 suitcases, and within a week, I moved up here. And it took a lot of time, and I will say this: it took a lot of mushrooms to get me to where I am now. I am very much a believer in plant medicine in general, not just cannabis, but I 100% believe that mushrooms and cannabis combined can get you to where you want to be, 100%.
Oh yeah, I just saw an article today that North Carolina, it looks like they'll be leading the research and testing with veterans in mushrooms, which I'm actually writing a follow-up article on my own opinion on that. So absolutely, I think mushrooms are great.
That was the tipping point in deciding where I moved, because Michigan decriminalized mushrooms. They've decriminalized mushroom usage and everything up here. So
that's awesome.
Personally, the occupation in the field I'm trying to get into specifically is psychedelic psychotherapy.
Okay.
I really want to help people with the aid of natural plant medicine, i.e.,
like a shaman.
Yes, like mescaline, DMT, ibogaine,
and DMT.
I love all of it. It does help. It does help, and it's a learning curve, man. It's addiction is a learning curve, mental health is a learning curve, and cannabis is the way we're going to do it all, for sure.
So let's go back a couple steps here. So we just lost your best friend.
Yeah.
And through there, you went through a very deep, dark period. You started doing meth for about 3 months straight. Now, why not go back to fentanyl? What's the difference between meth and fentanyl for people like me?
Fentanyl, primarily the reason I didn't go back to fentanyl is because I personally don't ever want to go through those withdrawals again.
It's worse than meth?
The withdrawals off of fentanyl, the best way I can describe it is death. Like, you literally feel like you're dying. It's no.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'll put it like this. The reason Fentanyl is the reason I can never watch my favorite show anymore. I can't watch Trailer Park Boys anymore because of the theme music in the beginning. I had the whole time I was drawing, that's all I heard, and it destroyed me. But fentanyl, I can't go back to fentanyl because that was the tipping point in me losing my son. And I made a promise to myself that I would never ever touch that. I would never ever touch fentanyl ever the fuck again. Mainly because I can say I'm in the 0.1% of fentanyl addicts to get clean. That's how serious fentanyl addiction is. There's only like 0.1 or 1% of addicts that get clean. The rest, I hate to say it, the rest die.
Well, I believe that statistic is probably true.
Yeah, it's and only 5% of meth addicts get clean. And it lasts 5 years.
Well, if you think about it, dropping down to 73 pounds,
yeah,
when you weigh well over 100, most men do.
I was 180 before that, and I dropped down to 73.
That you lost 100 pounds to a weight that
was sick.
Like my son, who's 10 years old, should be around.
Yeah, it was bad, man.
Now, when you're on meth and you're going through all this, like, like when you see a relative that you haven't seen in like maybe 5 years, you see a dramatic change, right? Like you say, "Oh, holy crap, I didn't recognize you. You look so different because you got older, or maybe like a younger kid." When you're looking in the mirror 3 months straight, do you see the decay, or is it? And you just don't give a fuck? Like,
no,
how does that
try to avoid it? You end up trying to avoid it.
So not looking in mirrors, not trying to see a reflection,
not going out, not interacting with people very much. It's a full recluse effect. Once you get bad, it's bad.
When I was at National Cannabis Festival, I talked to a girl who said her worst day on meth would be when she would shut her blinds, she would get down on her hands and knees with a magnifying glass, and she would sift her carpet for hours looking for anything that she could find. And she, like you now, is clean and actually uses cannabis because she's the one that said, I wanted to quit hard drugs, but I wanted something that I could still feel on and have something to turn to. And for her, just like you, cannabis is that answer. Now, when you're in that mode, like when I first started doing psychedelics, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so when I first started doing psychedelics, when I started doing acid and mushrooms, everybody at first looked so magical and youthful. And the rave scene that I went to, all the parties were just so magical. Well, after a while of going to them, you start to realize that a lot of those people who are in those environments are actually addicts. So when you first meet them, you think if you're not a user that they're a lot like you. Oh, we're all here for the weekend. We're all going to party. This is what you guys do on the weekend too. And then you start to realize, oh, wait a second, your weekend doesn't end. This is a perpetual lifestyle for you. And what happened was I was doing a lot of acid one day at one of these events. Start to look at the people, and I could see all the decay in their face and their teeth and all the things that were happening, and starting to realize that, wait a second, these are people are actually users. These aren't recreational, trippers or users. And it was very interesting because I think in the beginning, especially like you talk about it too, there's this limelight of, oh wow, maybe it's not as dangerous and as bad as people say. Maybe they just couldn't handle it. And then you start to see the loss along the way. Would that be true?
Yes, I believe 100% that's true.
Talk about that.
It's easy to get lost, and because eventually what it is it's self-absorption. You get so absorbed within yourself that you withdraw from society. You withdraw from the best way the best way I can put it is giving a fuck. You withdraw from that. You don't care, and you accept death in a way. You're not looking for it, you're not looking to cause it, but you're just accepting the inevitable of basically life is shit. And you wallow in it. It's not easy to break free of that. And without having, a tipping point, a burning light, a way out, a lot of people get stuck in it for a very long time. We lose people to it all the time.
It's like Russell Brand, and I'm going to try to paraphrase this quote without having to look it up to waste time. But it says, "And until you're in the mind of an addict, until you're in the mind of an addict, you realize that there's no hope without a true support system."
Yep.
Talk about your support system. Like, how do people, when you deny help and you're like, "Oh, I'm fine," and you've caused all these problems to yourself and maybe to your family and all these other things, how do you learn to ask for help when you've denied it so much, thinking that, I got this?
That's a good question. I wouldn't really say I have a support system. I've learned to support others as my support system. I've learned the best way I can help myself is by helping others. Instead of turning into myself, I'm turning outward and trying to find people that are struggling and trying to be a change in their life, trying to be a support in their life. I mean, I do have a support system. I have my grandmother, I've got my mom and stuff. I mean, it took them a long time to, for me to build that trust with them. But they accept me for me, and they know no matter what, they'll always be here for me, My mom's always been my rock. She's always been what I would say the main parent I've had my whole life. The only kind of family I've had majority of my life. And my mom is my mom is my best friend. I'll put it like that. I am a mama's boy through and through.
That's awesome.
She really helps me through a lot because she understands and kind of sees the signs before I do sometimes. Mainly because I can be more real with her than I am myself sometimes. And it's wild to say that, that you can be realer with somebody else more than you can yourself, because we all lie to ourselves. We all tell ourselves it's okay. But my mom, man, she is my rock. She's my shining light for sure. And I think everybody needs if not a system, a select individual for sure. Because, not everybody wants to tell everybody everything, Sometimes you only need one or two people. And as long as you can be real with those one or two people, realer than you can be with yourself, you can get through anything. Because the people that really love you, really care about you, man, good, bad, or ugly, they're going to tell you what you need to hear. 100%.
And the ones that love you the most will tell you the things you don't want to hear. and
Yeah.
it'll piss you off too, because
But
and I had that problem when people try to give me advice. It makes me angry because then I feel stupid because I didn't think about it. You know what I mean? So I feel that. Now you mentioned in the beginning no family influence, but then you just said your mom is your best friend.
yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
So for a very long time, me and my mom's always loved me. My mom's always tried to be there for me. But for a very long time, I rebelled against that because I always thought she chose relationships over her relationship with me.
Hey,
Um,
live stream viewer,
um,
keep going.
yeah, I always kind of thought, she kind of wanted those relationships with others over a relationship with me. I kind of felt left out for a very long time in my life. And it took me growing up to realize that wasn't it at all. My mom was just doing the best she could um, with what she had. And was the life the best? No. Could my life have been probably a lot better? Yeah. But she was young. My mom was real young. She didn't.
How old was she?
She was in her early 20s when she had
That's
me.
awesome. My wife Lacey had our son at 21, so good for early parenting. I love that.
Yes. And so me and my mom kind of raised each other, and it was a lot. It was a lot. Take your dabber.
Now, was your mom also a user as well?
No, only of cannabis. Actually, she's always been.
Oh, that's awesome. Go, mom.
She's always been a leader, and ever since I was young, she always just told me she don't care what I did as long as it was natural. That's her, because like I said, my family's very rooted in Native American tradition.
Okay.
So she's always told me, she doesn't care what I do as long as it's natural, because the chances of something natural really having an effect on you, a lasting, like death, anything like that, it's slim to none as long as you're using it appropriately. That's what she used to tell me, and it took me a long time to realize what she meant by that.
Now, keep going. Sorry.
But it took me a long time to realize that what she was meaning is that, if it comes from the earth, yeah, it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna rattle your brain a little bit. But the chances of it having a lasting effect, like opioids or any man-made chemical, are slim to none. You're not gonna, first time use it, overdose and die. You're gonna have an ego death more than likely. You're gonna think your world's dying, but you're not gonna die. As long as you're using it appropriately.
Are you smoking a joint like I am?
I am taking a dab right now.
Dude, I'm a little bit jealous. All right, I have my dab stuff. I'm just too lazy to fire it up right now. I'm looking for an electronic nectar collector or an e-dab again because I love the glass. I just want to be able to be like. That's why I love the Venti Pack and Go. I can't see you. I've been seeing a black screen for the last 30 minutes, but you're doing awesome.
Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, I've got this really tight dab rig. It's got mushrooms on it. I call it Blue Meanie, if you know what that means. But yeah, I got little Blue Meanie here, and it's pretty.
Well, I wish that me and the viewers could see it, but we only got a black screen. Now, you mentioned something about the only thing you had, maybe if I heard you correctly, animosity towards your mom was the fact that she thought that she loved other people, and I'm guessing other men more than you, because she must have been dating a lot because she was so young, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that, and how does that fit the dynamic between you and her and what you went through? So,
I've always kind of been my mom's protector.
Okay.
Because my mom hasn't always had the best of taste in men. I
haven't always had the best taste in women, so I don't blame her.
Neither have I, brother. Neither have I. I think it's a family trait.
That, but I think also too later in life, you start to truly learn what a stable relationship is, and honestly, stability in your own life. And I think that's the dynamic that's lost when you're young, because you're still trying to figure it out, and then it's you against the world. And when you get a little bit older, you have a little bit more ground to stand on because of what you know and your experiences versus being so new to everything, So I definitely could agree to the lack of judgment because of, the environment and everything that was going on.
Right. Yeah. She definitely had a select choice in men. They weren't savory, but like I said, at a very young age, looking for stability herself, and it's just with the wrong people, and sometimes it got to the point to where I was spending more time at friends' houses and people I was acquainted with more than I was at home,
And that added to the moving around a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you almost kind of remind me of Pearl Jam. The lead singer, Eddie Vedder. I don't know if you know this song, which you probably do. What's the song? I'm Alive.
I may have. I can't off the top of my
He
head.
says, so I'm Alive. I'm just gonna look up the lyrics real quick so I can explain it to you, but it actually kind of matches your story a lot. So hold on for a second. One of my also favorite songs.
See, I've always very connected with the. I'm a drifter.
Hey, my mom, literally no bullshit, because I was adopted from Romania. My adopted parents actually had to track her down in Romania so she could sign for the adoption. My mom was actually a legit gypsy.
No shit, that's cool.
Oh yeah. So he says, the lyric goes, so she says, or son, so she says, I have a little story for you. What you thought was your daddy was nothing but while you were sitting home alone at age 13, your real daddy was dying. I'm sorry you didn't meet him, but I'm glad we talked. And what the story background is, when he was 13 years old, the person he grew up thinking was his dad was actually his stepdad, and his mother wouldn't let him talk to his real dad, and his dad passed away and he never got to speak to his dad, and there was a lot of animosity towards her. So he created that song, and he heard his dad's voice, which he had never heard before, in his mind say, I'm still alive. Well, what happened with the crowd was everybody interpreted it as a positive statement, like, I didn't die, I'm still alive. And that psychology between the crowd's understanding and his emotion actually helped him deal with that trauma later in life, with his mother. So explain that, because that's what the dynamic that I want to understand with you, is how does that all be forgiven, especially when, in a way, those actions, which you did voluntarily, but also made you live in unstable environments and really opened you up to a different type of world.
What it being around the environment that I was around at a young age, it taught me independence very young. It taught me a lot of independence very young, and how to take care of others very young. Like I said, my mom, she didn't have a savory choice in women. Okay. But no. A lot of the time we were in and out of hotels, you know, at a young age. This is 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, you know. We were in and out of hotels because that's the only place we could really afford. Because my mom was sacrificing a lot of her money towards the men she was with, you know. And that's forced us to live in not so savory places. But because of that, I grew up very young. Like I said, I at a very young age, I understood what drug dealing was. I was dealing drugs myself. I was selling weed and selling drugs myself at a very young age to help support my mom and paying her bills, paying for a hotel room every week, paying for our food and all that. But the reason I don't have, I mean, for a while I held animosity is because I didn't understand. I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the maturity that I have now. And now I just see it as she was doing the best she could with what she had.
Fair enough.
She was trying to give me the best she could, what she thought would be the best, you know. Unfortunately, it wasn't, but I can't hate for that. I can't hold anything against that because I'm a parent. I get it. I've got 3 kids now, you know. I get it.
3 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And listen, don't even get me started on that. Like I said, I'm a drifter.
One was enough.
I've traveled. I'm very well traveled. No. It's all a learning experience. I've made my mistakes as a parent. I've done things I wish I could take back, you know, and I still regret. And that's kind of what's made me understand my mom now, you know, is living that myself. Trying to get out of multiple unsavory situations for a better chunk of all of my life, you know. I've, up until just recently changed. Like I said, when I moved up here, my whole life changed, so... My whole life prior to 2 years ago was wild.
Do you think just, you know, having kids and getting older is what's setting in that wisdom, or is it just seeing what you saw as an addict and just being so determined not to just end up? Because as a user, you know, like they say, you know, you'll always be a user. It's how you can control it and how you most make it work for yourself, you know. And that's one of the biggest things. Have you ever read the book what is it called?
Don't say the 12 steps.
The power of one more.
No.
All right, so the power of one more is about this guy who became a multi-millionaire, and his dad was a really bad alcoholic. And when he was young, he said, "Hey, Dad, do you think you'll be free from alcohol for the rest of your life?" And his dad, who was an alcoholic who quit, said, "You know, son, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: I'll be sober for one more day." And when he was about to quit his business, when he got older, he called his dad and said, "Hey, you know what? It's just not working out. You know, I think I'm just going to throw in the towel." And his dad's like, "Why don't you just give it one more day?" And one more day, he landed a huge business deal and became a huge multimillionaire. But it's that forward thought of there's a better life for me if I stay here. And I know exactly where that goes back. How do you think the transfer of power works in your mind from being an addict, doing meth 3 days straight, not giving a fuck, and accepting death, to saying, you know what? No, I want to be present. I want to be here for my kids or my family, or all of a sudden relationships matter more.
I hate to make it about this, but I kind of contributed to mushrooms, man.
Let's talk about that defined moment. Like during that trip, what is so special that really spoke to you?
What really spoke to me on really staying clean and and that one more day mentality is I had gotten these rather potent mushrooms, specifically of the penis envy variant. Very strong.
Yes.
And I ate 4 grams of them, and I went on a spirit meditation, a guided spirit meditation. And in that meditation, I was towards the end of it. It kind of guides you along, and it leads you up to a point to where, you know, and this is me kind of quoting you here. It kind of leads you up to you know, you see someone in the distance, they look familiar, you know, and as they get closer, you notice more things about them, you know, but you can't really see them up until they're right in front of you. And when the person got right in front of me, it was my best friend, and I just lost it. I instantly broke into tears. It hit very hard because he was a very influential part in my life in keeping me a very, you know, sane and on my toes, you know, type of person. You know, he always kept me reeled in. But yeah, when I was doing this meditation, he kind of popped up in front of me, and I broke into tears, and we sat there and talked, and he helped me go through my mourning. He helped me go through my grief, and he helped me realize death isn't final. There's other ways to live past death. And it can be just in spirit of heart, spirit of mind, you know. And that helped me a lot with my addiction and my mental health and my grieving, you know, is understanding that, you know, not everything is final. You know, it doesn't have to be the end. Nothing has to be the end. You can continue on in a greater light. It's just all about finding that greater light.
Can we add a name to your best friend? I would love to know your best friend's name.
His name was Kyler. He was an amazing person.
Now, have you ever seen Kyler since then, or only that one time?
Only that once. I've kind of avoided it since, because I'm not much of an emotional person, and every time I see him, I cry.
Fair enough. Let's talk a little bit about Kyler, if we can.
Yeah.
Without getting you too worked up. I've never on a mushroom journey have had a spiritual moment where I've actually seen and actually have had a conversation with anybody that has not been human. When you say you saw your best friend,
Yeah.
talk about what he looked like. Does
He
he look
looked like
you remember?
Yeah.
Or
He looked
what
like
was
him.
he wearing? Is there anything special about him being there? Like, describe it.
When I seen him, funny enough, it was from my favorite memory of him. It was from the very first time I met him. We went trick-or-treating together. Grown adults. We went trick-or-treating together. And he was dressed up as the guy from Breakfast Club with the jean jacket on. I
know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but I know exactly. Yep.
He was dressed up just like the dude from Breakfast Club, and he was playing the part so well. Oh, it was so great. But when I say he looked like him, I don't know if other people can relate to this, but seeing somebody in a box and seeing them in real life is different.
Yes. I just buried my grandfather. I do believe that 100%.
They don't look the same.
No.
So it was actually, you know, seeing him, and it was wild, and it was like a day hadn't passed, and he's been gone almost 3 years now.
Now, you remember in the movie How High, where his friend died, and they had the joints, and then they put his ashes, and they could see
Yeah.
him, and he was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" Like in the corner. Was it like that almost?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it was kind of like I couldn't physically see him, but I could see him in soul. I could see him in energy. It was very raw.
So you're standing there, and you. What does he say? Who breaks the ice? Like who opens the
He gave
conversation?
me
You
a hug.
say, "Hey, Kyler, what's going on?" Or
Oh,
does
he
he
just gave me
say?
a hug. He gave me a hug and was like, "Bro, we've been to Denny's." that
He
was
said,
kind
"Bro, we've been to Denny's."
of yeah, that was kind of mine and his little catchphrase.
Okay. So he gave you a hug. Now, like, is this one of the things where if somebody saw you, you'd be hugging the air? Or is this something that where you experience where you could actually feel him as well, not only just see his, like, I guess, spirit or aura or whatever I guess it
No,
would
it was
be
kind of just
classified as.
it was kind of I kind of felt his energy kind of embrace me.
And did he say like, "Hey, I'm here for this specific reason," or like, "I need to
Yeah,
tell you this"?
yeah, he came with purpose.
So
Bastard.
let's talk a little bit about that.
um, I was I was going through it mentally a lot,
Okay.
really bad. And anytime I trip, I go into it with purpose, because that is the only way to do mushrooms or any type of psychedelic is with purpose. Because any other time you're either gonna have a bad time or you're just gonna see things, and I don't want to just see things. I want to learn things. Um, so I was going through it real bad mentally, and at the time I was experimenting with mycology, if you understand what that means.
I think I can put two and two together.
But yeah, so I had a kind of a unlimited resource,
So
so
I
I
love being a home grower.
same.
Unlimited cannabis. And believe me, it is nice. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
That joint was huge. I have no idea what it weighed. Don't care. I got a whole bowl right here. I got more over there. Like,
Yeah,
home growing is
and it's amazing. and
getting high in your
so
own supply.
yes, exactly. And I kind of controlled my potency, I could control how strong I was eating, so I went into it as, I don't know if you pay attention to potencies and varieties, but I had what was called penis envy uncuts, and
So
these
I'm
are
not familiar on the mycology side. On the cannabis side, I know a whole shit ton. But on
well,
mushrooms, I
these
would still be
specific
a newbie.
mushrooms are a rather strong variant of the penis envy variety. Um, and I ate 4 grams of these with the purpose of going into this and getting something out of the trip. And the best way I figured I could do that was doing a
A
meditation.
hero dose.
Yes, yeah. And I will put it like this: I'm a big advocate for saying, if you want a big change in your life and you don't know what you're gonna do and you're just having the worst time in your life, eat some mushrooms, man. It will change your life for the better. Because that's when you're supposed to do it, I feel like. Because a lot of people go for it for fun and all that. That's not what mushrooms are meant for. They're not meant for fun. They're meant to teach and heal and help.
I think what people are scared of is being already in a horrible place and then winding up getting the bad ticket and having a bad trip. And now not only do you not feel good, you're in a horrible state of mind and a horrible trip that's not going away for at least 6 to like 9 hours before you really are like, oh, I'm not on mushrooms anymore.
See, I'm in the thought of, sometimes you learn the best things from bad situations.
Oh, I believe you, and I'm a fourth I'm a student of that lessoning. But yeah, no, I think a
But
lot of
not,
it is
it's
like,
not for
people are like,
everybody.
I don't know
Not
if I
for
can handle
everybody.
myself.
I don't suggest it to everybody. But yeah, when I had these mushrooms, man, I went into it with I want to learn something out of it mindset. And the form of me learning something came in the form of my best friend appearing in front of me in a trip, you know, and it taught me the reason it was an impactful experience for me is because at that time I was struggling with mental health issues with mortality and how mortality works. Not necessarily. I'm not saying suicide or anything like that. I'm saying mortality in general, as in like how it works, how quick it is. Ever since I've opened my world to psychedelics, it's opened my mind to a lot more than just life. There's also death
100%.
as well,
Yes.
and I've kind of struggled with that. It's not the sense of what death is. It's the finality of what people say it is and what they think it is, and the lack of control within it is what I've
Yep.
always kind of struggled with.
Yep.
Because
And that's why I focus so much on death. And I'm actually starting to work with the hospice because nobody's going to give you a better insight than somebody that
yeah,
is on their way out.
right. And that's what's always kind of bothered me is the fact that there's lack of control. It can happen at any time, at any point.
We do have one question before we move on because I do have a couple statements. Turtle, you mentioned from Yoda doing our modding. You mentioned a couple of times how you taken mushrooms with the intent and doing a meditation. Where are you finding these meditations?
There's a couple really really good ones on YouTube. I can send you the link to them later, and you can post them up on the thing. But there's a couple really good ones on YouTube. But the biggest thing with doing your meditations is I wouldn't even really say do it from somebody else. Do it from within, man. Find a nice dark space, lay on your back, and just breathe until you find you're just calm. Once you're calm, you can go through whatever you need to go through. And that's with the aid of mushrooms. That's with the aid of mushrooms. That's what I used to do. Is I would wake up in the morning, I'd have some ground up mushrooms already. I'd take a zero point 0.9 scoop, put it in my cup of coffee, slam that cup of coffee. I'd put on some really zen, lo-fi music, and I would just lay on my back and meditate. But there's certain steps you can take. You just gotta. And I will say this: it takes a lot of work to get to that point. It's not always going to work the first time. You really have to cancel out everything around you. You have to really get in the moment.
Yes. So going back to the fear of death, fear of
Yeah.
death is a fear that most people have. It's something that we're all guaranteed, and that's something that we'll all experience.
Yep.
With that being said, you said your biggest fear is not necessarily the dying part. It's the permanency
Yes.
of dying. So
The
talk about
permanence-
that
It-
because I share the same kind of thought of it's hard to think that one day I just won't be here, and that's
Right.
also tied to the psychology of the subconscious not being able to contemplate or think of its own death. So your
Right.
subconscious mind can't envision you dying, and that's why, in a sense, we feel like we are invincible at times.
Yeah, and it sucks. Listen, I think about this all the time, and it sucks. So my problem with it is it's not the lack of body, it's the lack of memory that I'm having a problem with. It's because I cherish my memories, good and bad. I cherish them. I cherish them a lot. They are very emotional to me. And I don't like that, at any given point you can just poof. And I don't like that. And what the reason I don't like that is because there's no sense of control. If it's coming, it's coming. There's nothing you can do.
That's the biggest illusion right there, is that we have control.
We don't at all.
None of us have control, but we're all, even including me, we're all fighting for it. We're all trying to dominate control, but there's no control.
There's none at all.
It's just like being normal. There's no such thing as normal.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me the most of it, is there is no control. Like there's nothing you, like when death is knocking, there's nothing you can do you're not stepping away to say, hey, hold that thought. Like there's nothing you can do about it.
So go ahead.
And that's what bothers me is I wish, and I know there's nothing that can be done about it, but I wish there was, just a way to tell,
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and how to solve this problem, is to create that conversation around death. I just wrote a blog that's very detailed about death, and I talk about dying consciously and dying comfortably, and I relate to my own grandparents, right? And my opinion and thought of, it's always backwards on the camera. So you think you're going one way, but it's really the other way. I'm learning this with long hair. I've never had long hair before, but I'm growing mine out. And I'm like, oh shit, it's in my face. It itches my skin. I'm like, I don't know. But anyway,
super long. I feel you.
In my opinion, there's two types of dying. There's dying comfortably and there's dying consciously. In my opinion, dying consciously means you know that you are going to die. You've been diagnosed with a thing. You're going through the stages of hospice or whatever, and you know you're going to die. Dying comfortably, in my opinion, relates to my grandmother, who that's why I'm building this relationship around death and really trying to talk to people about it. It's because when she died completely at peace. I talked to her very specifically about her death, and she pretty much told me that she was completely at peace, that God had repaid her in every way, that she lived a great life, and to her, it didn't matter if she woke up or not. And not everybody's like that, especially if you're in a situation where you lack control. Let's say a freak accident, or you get murdered by your best friend because you thought he was your best friend, but he hated you for 12 years. Right now, he just took it out on you. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing with the whole dying comfortably is truly setting that conversation in your mind with other people, so you can, like, when my grandfather died, now he went into dementia and then passed away. So I feel like he died consciously. He was over 100. He knew he was going to pass away, but he went into a coma. He didn't know he was dead. You know what I mean? He was not a coma, dementia, where he's just out of it, kind of almost just, last time I saw him, he was rocking back and forth. You know what I mean? So,
and listen, as somebody that's dealt with dementia and Alzheimer's, bud, I'm sorry.
Yep. Well,
that's hard.
Thank you. But I think, the generations now need to have these conversations because it's inevitable. What if we never got to have this conversation with somebody and then we wind up in a coma and then that's it? The graveyard is the richest place in the world, because that's where everything goes to die. So with the fear of death and the fear of permanency and everything like that, how has your journey now helped you understand it better? Or what are you doing? Like, one thing I'm doing is I'm working with hospice, so I can work directly with the dying to have those conversations, to understand what it truly looks like. So this way, I can understand better. And then I can also, have a changed perspective. I can gain gratitude, and I can also do something very nice. And I don't get paid. It's volunteer only.
Right.
But it replaces my grandparents, who have now all passed away. So now I get a chance to be with the elderly.
What I've been doing recently, I mean, for the past couple of years, is before my best friend Kyler passed away, me and him made promises to each other that if one of us passed, we'd always take care of each other's family. Like I said, he's been gone almost 3 years, and I still call his mom every week. I talk to her every week, make sure she's doing okay, because she, unfortunately, and God bless her soul, she had 5 kids, and 4 of them have passed away before they hit 30.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, what a tragedy. That is...
Yeah, she's been through it bad, and I try to be there for her, and I'm trying to find a way to. What I'm doing is I'm trying to help people that I know don't reach out, but there's signs, if you know how to look for the signs, you can help anybody. And right now I'm currently helping my best friend. He's battling with addiction and stuff like that, and I just went down to Tennessee a month ago and moved him up here with me so he could live with me.
Now, let me ask you a question. As a former user, how do you protect your boundaries and your sobriety while aiding somebody else that is just fresh out of it, especially when you're still in the building blocks of your life?
Teaching through experience.
Now, do you think that you have enough discipline and like kind of just say no if you caught him
100%.
using?
100%. And I've established that with him. I've told him, like, hey, look, being at my place, there ain't none of that shit. I'm teaching him through showing him what I have.
Lived experience. Yep.
Yeah, I'm showing him what I've gained, where I'm at, what I'm doing, everything. I'm trying to get him on board with everything that I'm doing, so he can benefit, from it. He's been doing really good. I am very proud of him.
Do you feel like he shares the same kind of storyline where he's at a point in his life where he just wants different?
Oh, 100%. 100%. He's kind of my helping hand with my grow and everything myself.
Oh, fantastic.
He's kind of the hands-on helper with me, actually.
Now, let me ask you a question. We talk about the fear of death, right? But you also, when you were using, said that you expected to die. Yeah. Where does the fear of death go in the addict's mind or the user's mind? Where, you know what, hey, if I die, well, you know what, maybe we should be jumping a bridge, fuck it, I'll go out like a hero.
And an addict standpoint, that just looks like, like you do a heroic dose off of any drug.
Yoda says, do you also feel that your friend helps as an accountability partner?
100%. 100%. He helps keep me in track as well. Because they're like, with addiction, you're always going to battle with urges. You're always going to battle with weakness and everything, And there's moments where I'm like, hey, it's a tough day, and he's just like, hey, dude, you've come a long way. It's having somebody there to kind of help remind you, that those rough days are just rough days. That's all they got to be. They don't have to be a they don't have to be a permanent solution. You don't have to go out and seek coping mechanisms that aren't coping mechanisms.
Now, I want to get back to that topic, though, of expecting death versus fearing death.
When you're expecting it, the fear of it goes away. When you're hoping for it, the fear of it goes away. It's more of a... Are
you expecting to live forever, and that's why you're afraid?
No, hell no. I just hope I make most of what I've got. But I've always looked at my life.
I didn't die, so now I hope I live forever.
I've always looked at my life as more of the sense of a martyr. I want to give my life purpose before I pass. I don't care how I pass. I don't know. I have no control over that. But only thing I know is when I pass is I want my death to be a teaching point.
What do you think is one of those bucket list items that you'll do that will really aid and assist that outcome?
Well, I have a plan of sitting down, getting a really good camera quality, a good camera, sitting down, rolling a good about 10, 12 blunts, and just recording myself for about an hour and talking about serious life things, mental health, addiction, poverty, richness, everything in between. And I want to get it put on something for when I pass, and I'm going to give it to the people I really care about to really put life in a new light for them. Because listen, if you pop a CD in after a motherfucker died and you listen to it, you ain't got no choice but to listen to what they say. Because what do you do? Hit them up and say something back? You can't.
Well, that's why it's so important to live in the present, and that's something I struggle with too, because I'm so busy trying to get everything going. Sometimes you forget to go outside. Some days because you're just so busy,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is that idea and that mindset to have, and that's one thing that I'm working on is no stone left unturned. Everything that needed to be said was said, and it's something that you can really die and with dignity and grace and just the knowing thought that because I listened to this guy named Pastor Rick, and he sat on the bedside of thousands of people, and I'm actually thinking about becoming a minister, because since I'll be working with the hospice and everything, it would just be another thing to add to the madman thing, and I could do funerals for people that are alternative, like me with pink hair, right? Anyways, with that
There
being
you go.
said, with that being said, though, it really shows you one how short life is, because even my grandfather in my speech at his funeral, I said if you would ask my grandfather, he probably would have told you that life is short too. And then second of all is it really comes down to relationships, like what you described with your friend Kyler, and how impactful those are. Because at the end of the day, it's the relationships that count, like with your mom, with your family, everything, because that's what's built, and then I feel like lost along the way is adolescence.
Yes, 100%.
Like
Building a lasting relationship. Listen, I'd rather have one loyal friend versus 100 unloyal friends.
Yeah, 100%.
That one loyal friend is going to come through 100. It's going to come through 110 times more than those 100 loyal unloyal friends.
Absolutely.
But a mouth can say anything. Actions will prove everything. A mouth will say anything. Actions will prove everything.
Yeah, I mean, and all you got to do is just let people tell you, and they'll tell you exactly who they are and what their intentions are and what they really want. So talk about some of the things like for instance with Vindicate, one of my missions is to create safe space, right? What is something
100%.
don't tell me, show me 100%. Yep. One of the things that I'm working on with Vindicate is really creating that safe space. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of hate, and story is just so important for people. What do you think in the future Turtle Trichomes is going to be working on, or like is there a mission or a vision that's bigger than you that you have that you're like, I want to create this nonprofit? Because with everything that you sound like you have so much energy that you could carry on something great like that.
I don't personally want
to take on that responsibility. That seems like a lot. But no, I do. I hope people will look into themselves and just try to be more inclusive. That's my community. The little community I'm trying to build, I guess, is just a place where everybody's accepted, man. I don't care about what you are, what you've been through, who you've been. None of that. It's about who you want to be and who you're trying to be. That's what I care about. As long as you're trying to be a positive, impactful force, man, that's what I care about. Is not. What the hell?
You know what? I think we need to get you a computer and a laptop. Does anybody want to donate a computer and a laptop? Maybe a Wi-Fi router? Actually, we'll just start with a Starlink, and then we'll get you the computer. How about that? Hey, Elon, I'm having trouble with this podcast. I need the Starlink. Yeah, we might have lost him for good. Wait. He joined again.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell happened.
I was trying to call my friend Elon to see if we get you a Starlink, but I don't have his number.
You're fucking hilarious, bro.
You know what? I'm glad. You hear that, Lacey? My wife never laughs at my jokes, so I'm glad. You know what? We need more yes people like you. I'm going to keep you around.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's great. The dabs might help too.
Right? Yeah, no, I should do a dab. It's just
bro, you should, bro.
All right, fine. We're gonna do a dab real quick.
All right, what kind of dab we doing? What kind of dab we doing? First of all, I got options.
Well, you know what? That doesn't look like it'll poison me. Water's a little bit cloudy.
I got Snow White. I got White Runts, Peanut Butter Crunch, and Han Solo Burger.
All right, so my friend Yoda, who's on the background, Master Yoda 207, he is a great presser and also grower. And he has blessed me with a whole bunch of these little jars. So I have Sunday Best. We're like peanut butter and jelly. We have Blues Orzo, we have Odin's Son, and we have Skywalker. But the problem is the Sunday Best is the gooeyest. The Black Zorro or Blue Zorro is like a fucking rock, dude. But I can heat it up with a little later. What?
What's your consistency preference?
High. Whatever gets me high is my preference. Yeah, that's why people are like so specific, and I'm more of like your average person. Like I know a lot about growing for me, Madman Plant, and what works for Madman Plant. Right. And sometimes I do very unorthodox things, and I just prove to myself all the time that there's a million ways to grow this plant, and there are people, and I give them credit, who are very organized. I am not organized. And they do make things look very nice, but I am a person that mixes my bud together. I'll mix like dabs together. I'll do this, I'll do that. And some people will pull their hair out in front of me. Damn it. Oh, wait. I found it. Okay, I thought I didn't have my torch.
I have an amazing torch. It's a high fire extinguisher.
Bam, bam. Yeah, dude. I really appreciate your mindset. There's a lot of ways to look at life and say, fucked up shit happened to me. I'm the one that deserves, X, Y, Z, and then you just become cynical. It takes real heart to say, you know what, I want better, and the past is the past. And I think that is the biggest form of emotional intelligence, is realizing that there's a bigger purpose or bigger objective out there, and you are literally wasting time by bitching and complaining when you could be, like Eminem says, a kid from the gutter just making your butter. I love that lyric.
Yep. Bro, it's shitty. Just because you've been in a shitty situation doesn't mean you have to be a shitty person.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like child abuse, you know, like sexually, physically, verbally,
Right.
mentally,
Right.
you know. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, you were saying right. I thought you were
It's
I thought you were stopping me to say something.
It's about being the best you could possibly be, man.
Well, and it's
Regardless
also
of what you
go ahead.
regardless of what you've been through. It's about being a good person, man.
Well, it's just, and the fact that history doesn't have to repeat itself if we don't let it. You know, we can truly learn from our mistakes. This is probably going to make me cough because this is dirty. Look, it's already smoking and I haven't even put it in.
Oh, good. It's all good. I done smacked like 5 or 6 dabs throughout this whole interview, and I am smacked.
I'm pretty sure I smoked like a 7 to 10 gram blunt. Then I hit my venti. Now this.
That's fucking phenomenal.
Oh, me and Yoda. Well, Yoda was down here from Connecticut. We did a 30 gram joint, and then
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Smoked it all. Me and him.
Fuck yeah.
All right, so listen, we are rolling down to the last, it looks like 15 minutes of the episode. This is where I opened it up to the guests and really kind of just let you have the floor. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover that we didn't talk about? Like how to, I just want to open it up to you now.
Open it up to me? Or up I'm so confused. I'm so hot now.
I know you're stoned, but so the last 10 minutes of the episode, if there's anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about, or specific things that you wanted to tell people, do it now before the wrap up. So I opened it up to the guests, be like, oh, here's one thing that I also wanted to say, or this is one thing that I also wanted to talk about, or whatever.
Okay. But I did wanted to give a shout out to National Alliance Mental Health Illnesses or something like that. NAMI. I want everybody to go check them out. And Shatterproof. Everybody go check out Shatterproof. They're amazing. I love their message. They're an amazing company. They're really a tipping point on addiction and everything like that. Not treating it as a problem, but as an actual like mental illness. Like people who actually need help. I really love their message. I think everybody deserves to know about them.
Yeah, actually, in Richmond, Virginia, I just went to one of their NAMI's events and listened to a bunch of their forums and had lunch with them. A great group of people, and I think they're all over the United States.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're great. They've done a lot for communities, man, and I really do stand by the message they have.
Now that's awesome. What?
Oh my torch!
Are you picking up like a cart?
Me?
Yeah, it feels like you're like picking up a tote or something, or sounds like it.
No, I'm picking up my rig.
Nice.
I got a big my mushroom rig. It's huge.
What type
my favorite.
What's it called? What kind of box is that? can't even remember the name of it. Oh, fuck. Oh well. So, with mushrooms, how many can you grow in your state?
Technically, in certain towns, i.e. Ann Arbor, you can grow, possess, or whatever, but it doesn't specify an amount. It just says you can grow, possess, cultivate, and basically gift without monetization.
Nice. Well,
basically, I can
Virginia,
give you mushrooms. You can't give me $5 for it.
that's how it works in Virginia with cannabis. We can home grow,
Yeah.
but you can't sell it. Now I can give it to you as a friend and be like, "Hey, take this."
Yeah.
But there's no
Yeah,
gifting,
but you better not give me no
exchanges.
money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, my college really helped me a lot as well, and understanding who I am, not just cannabis. Cannabis, I've always been a stoner. I mean, since way back. Way back. I started very young. But I used to use it as, just weed. Now it's my medicine. It helps me get through the day. It helped me get through this podcast. Because let me tell you, I have terrible anxiety.
Well, you didn't sound nervous, and you did pretty good.
Oh,
It's been 2 hours. So.
Yeah, listen. Cannabis helped.
Hey, you did a great job.
I appreciate it, brother. And I appreciate you for having me on here, bro. I really do. Like I said, you are the reason I got into this. You're the reason I started my own community, bro. You are like a good speaker, bro. You are a speaker for people who get it, bro.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. That really means a lot to me.
Bro, I listen.
I'm going to have to clip that out.
Thank you. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I guess you'll know what my first reel is after this podcast. But no, in all seriousness, I very much appreciate that compliment. Yeah. It's really what the whole platform stands for, and that's to create that safe space, to create that friendly environment, and just like we want our plants to grow, we grow as individuals, which is my slogan. How can you grow a great garden if you can't grow a great
person, bro? Exactly, bro. And listen, I don't care if you're just starting off. I don't care if you're an expert. If you're new to this, man, just learn. Have a story and tell it.
Every story has value.
Exactly.
Every story has a perspective of life that you will never understand or have experienced. So, regardless if it's the most boring person in the world or the most exclusive person, like even Barack Obama was talking about, he's like, everybody thinks of these elite people as like these specialized individuals. He's like,
man, they're your everyday people.
He said that. He said being in rooms with some of these really high-end people, he's like, you really wouldn't be entertained. Like
right.
He's like, it's pretty,
All right.
Not everybody that has money has brains. It's pretty much what he was saying.
Not everybody that has brains has money.
Yeah, true. If you would like to donate to this podcast, I'm just kidding. Great. Well, all right. To wrap things up, I asked 2 questions, and then we'll get you out of here. First question is there anything you got out of this podcast? If so, what was it? If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I got everything out of this podcast. Hopefully I got, a good message out there.
I think you got a fantastic message, and I really appreciate your transparency and the goodness that you're trying to spread, because that's what it's all about, is making those relationships and really just making people feel loved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Second question is why did you decide to come on the podcast?
To show that not everything that glitters is gold.
Ooh, yes, Stairway to Heaven.
Gotta look inward and outward. Sometimes the people you least expect it can help you the most.
Or the people that you think could least help you. It's like, no, that person can never do that. And then it's like, they're like the best at it. Like, kind of reminds me of King Arthur and the stone with the sword.
Exactly. Gotta get this, only one that can get it out of there is the one that put it in there.
This is true. Well, my dude, Turtle Trichomes, it has been awesome. I really thank you very much for being on the podcast. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, sir.
And you're in the Discord, right?
No. Actually, send me one. I'll inbox you.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some cool stuff on there. And guys, make sure if you're watching this to submit your plant photos because we're picking a winner at 9:00 tonight off that post for the free Rooted in Madness t-shirt. So I'm pretty excited about that. That is on the Growers Circle, which is on Madman Plant. Just go to Madman Plant on Facebook. We have 767 members in our group. So please feel free to join. And we have almost 30,000 followers on Facebook. So I really appreciate everything. Guys, we will see you guys soon. If you want more downloads for free, content, and information, go to madmanplant.com where you can find all your resources. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.